The action of 31 May 1762 was a minor naval engagement that took place off the Spanish coast off Cadiz, between a British Royal Naval frigate and a sloop against a Spanish frigate during the recently declared Anglo-Spanish War. When the Spanish ship surrendered, it was found that she carried a large cargo of gold and silver that would lead to the greatest amount of prize money awarded to British warships. Background: the war with Spain was only 4 months old when the Royal Navy sent a blockading force to the Spanish coast. The aims of the blockade were to block the dispatch of Spanish reinforcements to the Caribbean where Havana was under British siege, and to impede Spanish operations against Gibraltar or in the Mediterranean. Action. On 15 May 1762, Captain Herbert Sawyer's frigate, the 28-gun HMS Active, was sailing in company with the 18-gun sloop Favorite, Captain Philemon Pownall, off the coast of Spain near the port of Cadiz. They sighted the 26-gun Spanish frigate Hermione. The Hermione, under Lieutenant Juan de Zabaleta, had sailed from Quildao, west of Lima on 6 January 1762, prior to, and probably ignorant of, the declaration of the Anglo-Spanish War. On sighting the Active and Favorite in the morning, the officers were slow to prepare for battle, only relocating officers and passengers to make way for the gunners by 10 o'clock. The guns were not prepared and the path to the powder magazine was cluttered. At 1 in the afternoon the British ship stacked and started to head toward the Hermione. At 3 o'clock Lieutenant Francisco Javier Morales de los Rios, in charge of artillery, warned Zabaleta to call battle stations, who inexplicably responded by refusing to do so until after dinner at 5 o'clock. The British vessels came up beside Hermione and fired a few rounds. The Spanish replied with a broadside, and then both Active and Favorite let loose the broadsides. Soon Hermione only had her mizzenmast still standing. As his casualties rose, and having lost the ability to maneuver, the Spanish captain struck. There was confusion and misunderstanding between the Spanish officers, and the Hermione only managed 2 broadsides. When Zabaleta struck his colors, he stated that the English had confused the Hermione for a French frigate, though Morales was preparing to continue fire. When the English boarded, Lieutenant Zabaleta surrendered without the agreement of the other officers. The British soon took possession. Only then did they realize this was no ordinary frigate, as they discovered the riches on board. Hermione had been bound for Cadiz with a cargo of bags of dollars, gold coin, ingots of gold and silver, cocoa, and blocks of tin. Her captors took Hermione into Gibraltar, and she was eventually condemned as a prize, with her contents, hull, and fittings valued at £519,705.10 approximately £70 million at today's prices. Pownall and Sawyer each received captain's shares of the prize money of £64,872, approximately £8.73 million at today's prices. Ordinary seamen received £480 each, equivalent to 30 years' wages. The prize award is still a record. Consequences: Sawyer and Pownall were now suddenly extremely wealthy. Pownall used his money to buy the Sharpham estate at Ashprington, and to build a large house there designed by Robert Taylor and with gardens designed by Capability Brown. It was about this time that he commissioned a portrait from Sir Joshua Reynolds. In contrast, on returning to Spain, Zabaleta was tried in a court-martial held aboard the Guerrero in the port of Cadiz and sentenced to death. He was later pardoned by Charles III of Spain and instead dismissed from the Navy, and served 10 years in prison despite an appeal for his release and an offer to fund construction of a frigate to replace the lost vessel. Morales de los Rios was suspended for 2 years, during which he served in Ebex. Another officer, Lieutenant Lucas Galves, was suspended for 1 year.